Hello, welcome, and thank you for volunteering your time with the Chapter 1 online reading volunteer programme. This is the first of two trainings, each of 30 minutes. This training will cover the following: an introduction to Chapter 1, when to expect your pupil assignment, how to schedule a session in the Chapter 1 platform, information about our practice feature and knowledge base, how to start a session, get support, and send messages to teachers. We will also share important information about child safeguarding. In the second training you have booked, Building Confident Readers, we will cover how children are taught to read in most English schools, including your role in supporting children to read simple, early reading texts, how to engage struggling readers, and how to manage your reading session. We will also provide a review of the Chapter 1 stories and activities. If you're a returning reading volunteer, then please note that we have made some updates to the platform as a result of your feedback, which we hope you will enjoy. Please don't worry about taking notes during this training. You will be able to review this video in our knowledge base at your convenience. Let's begin with a short introduction about early reading. Pupils come to school from many different circumstances and with many different learning abilities. Some of the children may come from backgrounds where books and reading are not a part of their home lives, or they may be learning in English for the first time. Research tells us that as many as 1 in 5 children in the UK don't have a single book at home. Young children believe their possibilities are limitless. As a reading volunteer, you can broaden horizons, challenge stereotypes, and ignite curious minds. Every single day in a child's life has the potential to change who they are forever. When you help your student understand how reading can help them in the future and support their efforts by reading with them, there really is no limit to what they can achieve. Together, let's encourage them to become active learners, help shape their young minds, and inspire them to reach their potential. Evidence shows that COVID school closures have affected disadvantaged children disproportionately, and these children already faced greater challenges than their more advantaged peers. Research has shown that students from low-income backgrounds have often been exposed to almost 32 million fewer words than their peers by the time they start school. That translates into a large learning gap in both oral language development and word vocabulary. We also know from Department of Education data that 38% of English children from disadvantaged backgrounds left primary school unable to read to the expected standard, and that 69% of children who are not reading to the expected standard at the age of 7 don't reach the required standard by 11 either. Developing children's ability to read requires that they learn phonics and the fundamental strategies of reading, skills taught in every classroom. But learning reading strategies isn't enough on its own. Children must also spend time reading out loud with someone who can encourage their progress and gently guide them in learning successful reading habits. So, as you coach your pupil each week, you are complementing the work of the classroom teachers and helping your pupil develop in 3 vital ways: building the ability to decode the English language and its nuances, increasing their reading confidence, and last but very much not least, inspiring a love and joy for reading. Teachers really appreciate the one-to-one support and consistent regular practice you provide their pupils each week. As part of the Chapter 1 team, you are a precious asset in the classroom and also act as a positive role model. We're often asked by our volunteers if they need any special equipment for Chapter 1 sessions. The answer is no. All you need is a computer with an internet connection and a phone, as you'll be speaking to your pupil via audio and you will not be using video or seeing them during the session. We're aware that with increasing numbers of staff working remotely or in hybrid roles, employees are often using VPN connections on work devices to connect to the internet. Experience shows that connecting via VPN can often impact the quality of your Chapter 1 sessions, especially the audio. So where possible, please connect to the internet outside your company VPN or use a personal device for your sessions. Please also note that the Chapter 1 program works best in Google Chrome. Other internet browsers are not as well supported and might lead to glitches in your sessions. The most frequently asked question is, when do I get my pupil assignment? The criteria that must be met before pupils in a class can be assigned to a reading volunteer are as follows. All reading volunteers from the team assigned to the class have registered and passed their enhanced DBS check. All reading volunteers assigned to the class have completed the online training programme. Teachers have set up the shared timetable on the Chapter 1 platform. Dedicated laptops have been set up in Chapter 1 classrooms. Teachers have assessed children's reading levels, selected pupils for reading volunteering, and we've gained consent from their parents. Please note that teachers will take some time at the beginning of the year to complete all of these steps. Now, let's talk about what you need to do once you have been assigned a pupil. You will receive an email from us with details of your pupil name and the date from which you can book a session on the class timetable. You're now ready to sign up for your weekly reading session using the scheduling calendar. The scheduling calendar is a virtual replica of the class timetable shared by you and your pupil's teacher and is where you book your weekly reading sessions. To schedule a session, go to app.chapter1.org and sign in using the same username and password you used when you registered with Chapter 1. Before your pupil's class starts the Chapter 1 reading programme, the teacher will block out times on the calendar that are not approved for reading sessions. These will appear on the calendar in black. You're welcome to sign up during any time that is not blocked out by the teacher or already taken by another volunteer. Now, let's take a look at how to schedule a weekly session. As we've just mentioned, the teacher will black out times on the calendar that are not available for reading sessions. These times are indicated in black and are times like lunchtime or break when students are either out of the classroom or occupied by another activity. You cannot book a session during a blackout time or for a time that overlaps with it. The calendar is a Monday to Friday calendar and is date specific. Review the calendar for a day and time that is available for both you and your pupil. Available times are in white. Click in the cell to open the scheduling window. Verify the date and time selected. Make sure you check both the beginning and ending time of your session. If you would like to adjust your session's start or end time, you can do so here. Decide whether you'd like your session to repeat weekly. Notice this is the default option, or if you would like to book the time for this week only. The repeating session functionality is useful if you plan to read with your pupil at the same time each week and want to secure this time into the future. If possible, we do encourage you to choose and stick to the same day and time each week and complete at least 25 sessions during the year. This builds consistency and routine for both you and your pupil and ensures that pupils don't feel let down. You can always move a specific session in a given week if needed. Click Save when done. After you click Save, the box will turn purple. You will see the session time, your pupil's name, and your name in the purple box. If you're reading with more than one student in the classroom, you will need to schedule a separate session for each student. To schedule the session, click on the Selected Student drop-down. Select the student you wish to schedule with, and then add your entry to the schedule. You will notice the selected student name and your name will appear in the session. If you need to adjust the time of your session, click on the entry and make the necessary change by clicking on the time indicators. Click Update Event to save your entry. If you have a scheduling conflict during a particular week and would like to schedule an alternative time for that week only, click on the day and time you would like to schedule your alternate session and click Save. Notice you now have 2 entries on the calendar. To free up time should another volunteer need to reschedule their session, please be sure to delete your original event only for that week. Sessions can be viewed by week, as a weekly list, or by month. You can also toggle from week to week and month to month. Because you share this schedule with your teacher, he or she can also make changes to the calendar. In the event of a field trip, assembly, or other special activity when children are not available, the teacher can temporarily block those times when they are not in the classroom. If this happens, the block will show up on the calendar. If the temporary block time interferes with your session, you will receive an email explaining that your pupil is not available for reading volunteering. Please note that for periodic timetable changes, some teachers choose to send you a message via the platform rather than block out times on the calendar. Let's take a quick run-through of the calendar features you may find helpful throughout the year. You're welcome to sign up during any time that is not blocked out in black by the teacher. If you find calling the classroom 5 minutes after the hour results in more frequent calls being answered, you can manually adjust the time on the calendar. We advise you to book a repeating session for consistency and routine. Just move it if you have a conflict. You can also toggle from week to week or month to month. We provide a link to quick view instructions for how to use the calendar. To view relevant school holiday dates, click on the school's calendar link to view your school's term dates. As you'll remember from when you registered with us, our expectation is that you will call your assigned pupil each week for a 30-minute session for the duration of the academic year. We aim for our volunteers to complete at least 25 sessions during the year, and that children will be looking forward to your weekly calls. You're not expected to read during school holidays or any time that you yourself are on holiday during term time. We do, of course, understand that you may take personal holiday and just ask that you inform your child if you're going to be away and use the messaging part of the platform to let the class teacher know too. We'll tell you more about how that works a little later. You're welcome to double up sessions when you come back from leave if you can, as long as the timetable has space. In order to be sure that all children in our programme benefit from as much reading support as possible, we do monitor call frequency and consistency. We're keen to resolve any issues that you might be having in connecting with your pupil, and we'll reach out to you if it seems like your sessions are not taking place. Do please watch for emails from us and respond promptly. If at any time you experience problems during your session that can't be resolved by our live chat agents, or you experience frequent no answers, please let us know. One way of doing this is via the feedback form that pops up when you end your session, which we will talk more about in your Building Confident Readers training. You can also contact us via the support link on the homepage or email us at uksupport@chapter1.org. If you're a returning reading volunteer, you will know that we also offer an additional programme to our class-based support called Chapter 1 Home. This programme gives volunteers the opportunity to conduct an additional session after school hours with children who are in their own home. It's only possible if a child has access to a suitable device and a family who can facilitate this. When you registered with us this year, you will have seen some information about Chapter 1 Home. It's a fantastic way to double the impact you can have on a child's reading and make a difference. Expect an email from us explaining how you can express your interest in signing up. Prior to your first session, you will find it helpful to spend time familiarising yourself with the activities in the Chapter 1 platform. To practice how to navigate the story library and word activities, click on the Practice Reading Volunteering link found in the menu. Select an activity from the menu. When you select an activity, a small window will open and you will see an exact representation of what the student will see on their screen during a session. You can close this window by clicking on the X. To close out of the practice session and return to the Chapter 1 homepage, click the End button in the upper right corner. The practice session looks very similar to a live session. When you're in a practice session, you will see the word practice next to the clock in the upper right corner. Throughout the year, you will have access to a range of training materials and resources in our knowledge base. The base includes a comprehensive FAQ feature to help you find answers to questions quickly, video segments on all topics reviewed during training, how-to PDFs, and articles on best practices for reading with young children. To get answers to your questions quickly, we encourage you to visit the base throughout the year. We will also be holding expert view training sessions throughout the year on a variety of topics. And one of our team will be running live monthly drop-in sessions, so there are lots of ways to get help if you need it. When you're ready to read with your pupil for your weekly session, go to app.chapter1.org and sign in to the application. The first screen you'll see is the Reading Volunteer home screen. This is where you will start your session. From the home screen, you can view your pupil's name and the day and time of your session. If you have 2 children assigned to you, you can select the correct student for the session by clicking on the Select Student drop-down list. There are 2 options for starting a session: Start a classroom session or Start a home session. Our training today will focus on starting a classroom session. If you decide to support a child with home reading, the platform will have a slightly different interface and we will let you know how it works. To begin, click on Start Classroom Session. This will prompt the system to locate the classroom computer and generate a phone number. Remember that our platform uses a voice audio connection for you to talk to your child. There is no video. If you attempt to start a session earlier than your assigned time, you will get a prompt that reminds you the session has not yet started. You may begin your session early if there's not another session already in progress. Before starting a session early, please check the calendar. The system only allows for one volunteer to be connected to the classroom computer at a time. If there is a session in progress, a pop-up message will ask you to try again in 3 minutes. Click Yes if you would like to start your session early. As the system generates the phone number, notice the information on the right side of the screen. This information includes the school name, the teacher name, also known as the classroom, your pupil's gender, and your pupil's reading level. This information is always available during a session by clicking on the Child Info link at the top of each screen. Once the classroom computer is identified, you will see on screen a phone number generated for you to call for your session. Please do not save this number. A new number will be generated for your next session. If the phone number does not appear, there may be an issue with the classroom computer and you should contact chat support for assistance. Our chat support agents are real people who can solve most issues quickly. As you wait for the system to provide you with a phone number, you always have the option to either contact chat support or restart the session. Once the number is available, use your mobile, office or landline phone and call the phone number you see on the screen. Please note that the platform does not call the class laptop directly. You need to use a different device to establish the audio connection. The call will be answered by the classroom phone greeter who will talk to you through a headset. Remember, there is no video. Give the greeter the name of your student. The greeter should locate the pupil, who will then sit down at the laptop and put on a headset. If your pupil is present, click Pupil Available, click to launch activities. This will advance you to the next screen where you can select the pupil's reading level. If your pupil is not available, click Phone Answered but Student Unavailable. This will automatically generate a report to let us know your student was not present for the session. You will also get a prompt to reschedule your session. If you try to call the class but the phone is not answered, we recommend you either contact chat support or click here to restart. Please give it a few minutes before you try again. The class might be late returning from another activity. Year 1 life with a class of 30 children can be busy and unexpected things can crop up. After you click Pupil Available, click to launch activities, the platform will display the pupil's activity level and story level. You may move these levels up or down as needed at any time throughout your session by clicking on the pencil icon in the yellow box in the purple banner. Activity and story levels are explained in more detail in the Building Confident Readers training. Click the Go to Flashcards button to proceed. Flashcards are a great way to get your pupils' reading sessions started. We will be covering all the details about Chapter 1 activities, how to use them, and effective ways of structuring your reading session in the second training you have booked, Building Confident Readers. Please note that if you're a returning reading volunteer, you will notice that our flashcard activities have been updated. You will learn more about our updated flashcard activity when you watch the Building Confident Readers training. The Chapter 1 platform has a built-in message tool that makes it easy to send and receive messages to and from your teacher. Every time you visit the Reading Volunteer homepage, you can view any new messages received. We ask teachers to send you a courtesy message on the day of your reading volunteering session to indicate whether your pupil is absent or not. Most teachers do manage this, but if you do not receive a present or absent message, then a good rule of thumb is to call the class anyway. To send a message to your teacher, click on the Message Your Teacher icon on the home page. Click on Create a New Message and type the message to the teacher. When you're done, click Send Message. Note that you're also able to send messages to our support team via this messaging tool. Simply tick the box for Volunteer Support Admin to send us a message. When there is a message pending for your review, you will receive a text and/or email message alerting you to check the message section of the Chapter 1 portal. If you would prefer not to receive these messages, check the text and/or email opt-out box on the messages page. If you're taking a holiday during term time and so will miss sessions, then do please message the teacher to let them know. Do consider, if you can, doing an extra session to make up for the time you missed, as we aim for each child to receive 25 sessions during the year. Please note that we encourage teachers to communicate with their reading volunteers as often as possible, but some teachers may not have the time to routinely send or reply to messages. If you have a question that needs to be addressed by your teacher and you have not received a response within 3 to 4 days, please contact UK Support at chapter1.org and we will contact the teacher for you. While we do everything possible to ensure you have a successful session with your student, there are times when you may need support during a session or need to report a problem. Let's first take a look at what you should do if you need help during an active session. During your time with your student, you may encounter a technical issue, and it's important these issues be addressed quickly. Please do not ask your pupil's teacher for help. We have chat support agents standing by to help you with any problem you may encounter during the session. Our live chat agents have direct remote access to the computer used for reading sessions in the classroom and can resolve most issues within a few seconds. There are a few generic issues that you might encounter that can be fixed quickly by the live chat team. For example, an audio level that is too low, a window that may be blocking the reading content, or confirmation that the student can view the activity that you sent. Anytime you encounter a problem that affects the quality of your session, please contact a live chat agent immediately. Don't wait until the session is over to let us know you had a problem. There are 3 options available should you need help when reading with your student: live chat, fast chat, and phone support. To reach a support agent using live chat, click on the orange bar located in the bottom right corner of the screen. The support agent will acknowledge your presence in the chat room and you can begin the chat. Most volunteers have access to live chat. However, if your organisation does not allow live chat, we do have other options available. To view other support options, click on the Help Options link at the top of the page. Please remember to have the school and teacher name available when using a support option other than live chat. Let's take a moment to review the other options available. If your organisation allows fast chat, go to www.gotoassist.com/SB/chapter1. That link will always be available from the navigation bar. Once you're logged in, follow the prompts to connect with a chat support agent. You're welcome to call us on the phone if you can't reach us on chat. However, response time may be slower. For phone support, dial 033333 55817, option 1. In addition to our live chat agent team, you also have an opportunity to report a problem that was disruptive to your session. To report a disruption, click the Disrupted link at the top of the page and select the problem from the drop-down menu. While this does not replace contacting a live chat agent, it does give us valuable information about your session. This information is reviewed daily and will be used to make sure your next session is not disrupted. To review, always contact the live chat support agent for immediate support during your session. Please do not involve the teacher. Help us track technical or classroom issues by clicking the Disrupted button and recording your issue. While our live chat team can resolve most technical issues quickly, they do not have direct access to the classroom teacher. If you have a problem or question that is not technical in nature or cannot be addressed by our live chat team, please reach out to our volunteer support team at uksupport@chapter1.org. You can email them directly or use the support link in the messages section of the platform to contact them. The volunteer support team are able to investigate issues such as a classroom phone that frequently goes unanswered or absent children. They can also answer questions you may have about your pupil assignment and any other general queries about the platform and programme. They're also the team that monitors session consistency, so they may check in with you if they notice your sessions have not been occurring regularly. In the event your pupil moves away or you have concerns that the pupil may not be developmentally ready for Chapter 1, please let us know by sending an email to uksupport@chapter1.org and we will try to assign you a new student. You'll remember that when you signed up to be a reading volunteer, you were asked to read and agree to Chapter 1's Child Safeguarding Policy and sign up to a Code of Conduct. Like all organisations working with young children, we take safeguarding very seriously and believe that this is everyone's responsibility. We're just going to go over the key features of our safeguarding approach to be sure that you are clear what your responsibilities are as a volunteer and what behaviour we expect from Chapter 1 reading volunteers. For more details, please do read our policy and other safeguarding resources, such as Keeping Children Safe in Education, that we have in our knowledge base. First, what is safeguarding? Safeguarding is a term that relates to the action taken to promote the welfare of children and protect them from harm. This includes anything that might signal a child has been or is being harmed, or that their well-being or welfare could be at risk. The Chapter 1 team is committed to safeguarding and promoting the well-being and welfare of all children. We require all individuals who are involved or associated with us to share this commitment. Safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. During your reading volunteering session, your pupil may share something with you that you might find concerning. In the 2022 to 2023 school year, we had 23 incidences where a child shared something with their reading volunteer which gave them cause for concern and was reported. If this happens to you, we want to make sure you feel prepared and attuned to the signs that something might be wrong and feel confident in what you should do. Above all, please remember the golden rule. If in doubt, report. Please let us know of anything at all that strikes you as worrying as you read with your child, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. No one person can have a full understanding of what is happening in a child's life. Sometimes a child says something that just feels not quite right to one person, but when reviewed together with other concerns or bits of the jigsaw, could be a sign of abuse. If you have a concern, no matter how small, please contact our designated safeguarding lead team as soon as possible by emailing safeguarding@chapter1.org or using the rapid reporting form in our knowledge base. We understand that you might feel upset in the event that a child discloses something that leads you to suspect abuse or maltreatment, but please do remember that your reaction can have an impact on the child you're talking to, so try and do the following. Focus on what the child is saying. Try to avoid thinking about what to do next as they're speaking. Try to make a note of the child's exact words. Don't underestimate the courage that they've shown in talking to you. They've chosen you as someone that they trust. Try to react in a calm and reassuring manner, controlling any shock or making any judgments, and let them know they were right to tell you. I understand it might be difficult to talk about this. You're brave. Show concern and empathy. I'm so sorry that this has happened, and I will let the right people know. Let the child control the conversation. Be welcoming and allow the child to speak openly. Do not ask any leading or probing questions to learn more about the details of an incident or if it occurs often. This is the job of the designated school safeguarding officer. Be clear that nothing can be kept confidential. Emphasize that while you won't tell everyone, you will let the right people, those that can help, know. Continue with the Chapter 1 session, if that's possible or relevant. As soon as the session has ended, report your concern immediately using the rapid reporting form on our resources page and which was included in the Code of Conduct. We're going to take a moment to ask you to consider a real scenario that occurred for a Chapter 1 volunteer last year. Ava, the child, and Ruth, our volunteer, were reading a story about a big bath which was overflowing with bubbles. At one point in the story, the bubbles spilled onto the floor and made a big mess. Ava told Ruth that this reminded her of a time at home when she was in charge of bathing her baby brother, and they made a big mess. She got worried that her dad was going to slap her, and so she tidied it up quickly. This didn't feel quite right to Ruth. She did not ask Ava for more information. After her session, she made a note of Ava's words. What questions might this incident spark? Was Ava, who was only 6, left to bathe her baby brother alone? Does her father harm her physically? Could this be an indication of neglect and or abuse? Should I tell someone about this? What would you do? What did Ruth do? The incident weighed on Ruth's mind. She thought about it for a few days and asked the advice of a friend who was a former teacher, who was unsure of what to suggest. After a couple of weeks, it was still bothering Ruth, and so she told the Chapter 1 team and shared her notes. Chapter 1's designated safeguarding lead immediately reported this to Ava's school, as per our policy. The school was pleased to have the information, but concerned that they'd been informed after so much time had elapsed. They reiterated that they'd like to know about an incident like this as soon as possible after it occurred. Let's review the way Ruth handled this. She did the right thing by taking notes. She did the right thing by not asking Ava probing questions or making judgments. She ought to have reported this to Chapter 1 immediately. Remember, if in doubt, report it. In any child safeguarding situation, Chapter 1 will address your concerns with the appropriate authorities and will involve you only if necessary. Please do not try to investigate the issue yourself. The best course of action is to gently guide your pupil back to the reading volunteering session, and once the session has ended, report your concerns as we've described. Please note too that all reading calls are recorded by our platform. It's important to remember that you're in a position of responsibility as a reading volunteer and that your pupils may regard you as a role model. To protect yourself against any unfounded allegations of inappropriate behaviour, remember the following. You are in a position of responsibility and so should use language carefully and appropriately for this age group. Do not share personal information with pupils, for example, a phone number, email address, social media details. While it is fine to ask children questions about their likes and dislikes, do they have a pet, any siblings, what's their favourite animal? Do not ask children for their personal information, for example, where they live or their surname. Do not use video during any session or share website links. Do not arrange to meet a child anywhere. Do not offer to send children gifts or money or make promises to them that cannot be fulfilled. Do not interact with children under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If you meet your pupil at school, you should only take photos of children if they have confirmed that the child has a photo release. All reading calls are recorded. Thank you so much for your support to keep children participating in Chapter 1 safe. We hope you found this training helpful. The next training, Building Confident Readers, will focus on how to make the most out of the reading sessions with your pupil, including how to use activities and the basics of early reading, including an introduction to phonics.